Good afternoon, students. Today we will discuss about to the next topic is speech recognition, digitization, and the generation. So, according to name in this topic is speech recognition, which we have to speak that is recognized by the machine and is convert to the digitized to convert to the digital signature, and also we have to the machine is generate the new speech. So, let's discuss about these three topics today's. So what is speech recognition? So speech recognition is a technology that enable machines such as a computer or smartphone. Okay. Okay, speech recognition is the technology that enable machines such as a computer or smartphone to understand and interrupt human speech. So what I am saying to the machine, and machine intercept this what the human says. So it is also known as automatic speech recognition or speech to text technology. Just like to Alexa and Google Assistant, we have to just say, tell that the Alexa kindly explain this, and Alexa is, play a song. So Alexa is automatically intercept the human speech and digitize into the convert his digital form, and then generate to the speech according to the your question. So speech recognition system has used algorithm and machine learning model to convert language into the text. What are the step behind it? The step behind is this, like to first, that is to machine learning. Machine learning is basically supervised, unsupervised, and the semi supervised learning are there, and also reinforcement learning. So the process involves breaking down speech into the individual sounds or phonemes, and then using statistical model to match those sounds or word in a language model. So just like I am speaking anything, just they have already learned about that particular word. So that is understand about that particular word, what the human is said about that, what the human want to say. So once the system has recognized the word, it can be translate them into the text that can be processed and analyzed by the computer. Okay, so that is the step behind of the speech recognition. uh, Speech recognition has numerous application, including in virtual assistant, just like the Google Alexa, Google Assistant, dictation software, and voice activated, just like so many PDF reader are there to send the speech generate. So dictation software and voice activated as well. It can also be used in healthcare, education, customer service to improve communication between the human and the machine. Next is, while speech recognition technology has come a long way, it still faces challenge in accurately recognizing speech in different language, accent, and the context. So ongoing research is focused on to improving the accuracy of speech recognition system and making robust and adaptable to the different environment. So different, because in India different type of languages are there: Tamil, Malayali, Bengali, Hindi, and Marathi. So speech recognition can understand to different language. So we have to focus on that. Okay. Second step is the speech digitization. Digitization means is a process to convert analog audio, just like our speech is the analog audio signals which represent human speech, into digital data that can be processed and stored by a computer. The process involves two main stages: sampling. The first step is sampling, and second one is quantization. Okay, so in the sampling stage, the continuous analog audio signal is converted into discrete signal by taking samples of the audio signals at the regular intervals. These samples are the quantized means, which means that the analog signal is represented by a set of discrete value that can be stored as a digital data. So our speech is stored into the convert into the convert into the sample form, small steps, and then into quantized to the uh, um, uh, it is quantized, and that it so represent the digital data. Speech digitization is important because it's enable speech to be easily transmitted, stored, and processed by the digital device, any memory device such as computer or the smartphone. So we can store any speech, just like we have to store our audio to the our phone, our computers. So digitized speech can be compressed to reduce its size for efficient storage and transmission. and it can also be easily manipulated and analyzed using digital signal processing techniques. Okay, so speech digitization has numerous applications, including in speech recognition system, voice over internet protocol, VoIP system, and digital voice recording devices. Okay, so it has also enabled the development of speech based interface for various applications such as virtual assistant and voice activated devices. So overall, speech digitization has played a significant role in enabling human speech to be easily processed and transmitted into the digital age. So what kind of speech and auditory interfaces into the user use in human computer interface? So some of the obstacle to speech recognition. So first is increased cognitive load compared to pointing. Okay. Second one is interference from the noisy environment. If there is a noisy environment in, I am just speak into the platform, railway platforms, so many noise are there. So how to recognize these words? What are you saying and what are the announcement are said? So unstable recognition across changing users, environment and time. Okay. Obstacle to the speech output for the generation, the slow pace of speech output compared to the visual displays. Okay, some of the displays are there of into the written format, and the audio is in very delay process some places. So short term nature of the speech and difficulty is scanning and the searching. So what kind of opportunities are in this field? The first field is when user have vision impairments. So in India, in world, so many person are the visually not seen his eyes. So when when a user has a vision impairment, then we can using the audio speech and audio interfaces. Okay, just when the speaker's hands are busy, when mobility is required, when the speaker's eyes are occupied, and when harsh or cramped condition preclude use of the keyboard. Okay, so these are the some opportunities for that is usually for the visual impaired person. Speakers are busy, hands are busy, where we have to travel from the car and just handing with this command to the person and call this person. So that in these places that is speech and auditory interfaces are necessary. Okay, some of the technologies are using in this speech and auditory interfaces. First technology is speech store and forward. So we will discuss one by one in these technologies are discrete word recognition, continuous speech recognition, voice information system, and the speech generation. Okay, these are the 5 technologies in today's scenario we have to use in speech and auditory interfaces. Speech store and forward. So according to the name, speech store and forward. So first it's a store and then it's to forward. So speech store and forward refer to the process of capturing spoken language, storing it and forwarding it to the another location for later processing or analysis. Okay. So in the context of telecommunication, speech store and forward is often used to describe the process of capturing voicemail message. Okay, answering machine. Just when a caller leaves a voicemail message, so their spoken language is captured and stored into the digital format. Okay, so the voicemail system then forward the message to the intended recipient, who can later listen to the message and respond accordingly, just like to voice mailbox. Okay, we have to send we have to send our voice messages to the another person if the person are not into the onto the phone line. Okay, so speech store and forward can also be used in other applications such as transcription. In this case, spoken language is captured and stored and then forward to the human or machine transcriptions, who convert the speech into the written text. Okay, so what kind of advantages are there? The advantages of speech store and forward include the ability to capture and process spoken language at the later time, which can be useful for recording important information or message. Additionally, speech store and forward can be used to enable communication in situation when real-time communication is not possible. Okay, so on that place we have to use speech store and forward, such as when communicating across different time zone and when dealing with sensitive or confidential information. So overall, a speech store and forward is important technology that enable the capture, storage and processing of a spoken language in variety of applications. Okay, so speech store means speech store and forward. Next technology is discrete word recognition. So according to the name, discrete word recognition is also known as isolated word recognition. Isolated word recognition, basically it is a type of automatic speech recognition that focus on recognizing individual words rather than continuous speech. Okay, that focuses on which individual words rather than the continuous speech. In discrete word recognition, each spoken word is treated as a separate unit and is recognized independently. So that the process of discrete word recognition involves several steps. The first step is spoken word is captured via the microphone and pre-processed to remove noise and the other distortion. The first step. Second, the audio signal is analyzed and segmented into individual word using techniques such as dynamic time warping DTW or hidden Markov models. These are the two methods we have to use for the individual word to analyzed. Once the audio signal is segmented, each individual word is matched against a set of predefined word models. Just if you said anything, dictionary, just dictionary is a word which is already predefined into the machine learning data set. On that data set, they have to identify what you want to say. So which is based on acoustic and the language models. The acoustic model is used to match the sound of the spoken word with the corresponding phonemes, which the language model is used to determine the probability of each possible word based on the context of the speech. And this discrete word recognition is commonly used in applications such as voice activated assistants, voice dialing and voice authentication. It is well suited to situation where the user is expected to speak a limited set of predefined word, just like password, such as in phone menu system or in voice control device with a limited vocabulary. Okay, limited vocabulary. So recognize individual words spoken by a specific person work 90 to 98% reliability because only limited words are there. Speaker dependent training, repeat full vocabulary once or twice. Speaker independent training, not as accurate but eliminates training to expand the scope of commercial application. And quiet environments, head mounted microphone and careful word choice improve recognition rate to the both. If we are using quiet environment, head mounted microphone, very silent room, and it's carefully the word choice. Okay, so these are the improved recognition rates. Okay. The third technology is continuous speech recognition. So a speech dictation product just like IVM via voice to help dictate letters and compose reports verbally for automatic transcription. So can be used to scan and retrieve radio or television programs, court proceeding, lectures or telephone calls for specific words or topic. And after that these topics or these words, its summarize can be generated from audio conversation, and it is a closed caption generation and used for the security system and voice graph in the court. Just like the court proceeding, there are so much proceeding are there. So these so much proceeding is taken by the stenographer, and this stenographer is summarize this whole course proceeding to the in our notepad. Okay, so just like same as continuous speech recognition. Voice information system is basically interactive voice response system to check on airline flight departure arrival system, just like in flight information system, just like in railway information system, the announcement about the which rail has come and which flight has come, which terminal are open. So these are the interactive voice response system which is using for to guide the users. Voicemail system, telephone based speech system enabling user to store or forward the message, we already know that. Apple iPods allow to store large audio databases and retrieve selected segment according to the user's choice. Okay, so VO voice information system means just show the information about using the voice. Last topic is basically speech generation. So we have to already discuss about speech recognition. So speech recognition means we have to recognize the speech according to the users, and digitization store these into the analog signal converted by the using of sampling and to store and forward to the message. Okay, stored into the digital format. So that is digitization. Next is generation. Generation means the voice generated command. Okay, just like if you want to ask some question to the Alexa, and Alexa, what is this? So Alexa then answer of that particular question. So that is called the speech generation. So speech generation is also known as text to speech. The speech generation is also known as text to speech. Text to speech synthesis is a process of converting written text into the spoken words by a machine. Okay, so basically just like to the Alexa, just like to the Google Assistant, we already know that, we already use that. Given ask question to the Alexa, ask question to the Google Assistant, they are just to answer that particular question. So TTS system use algorithm and synthetic voice to read text aloud in a natural sounding way, giving the impression of a human speaker. So the process of speech generation involves several stages. So many stages are there. The first is the text is analyzed. Just like the syntax analyzer, we have to if we read that the compiler design, there are different six phases are there: syntax amending, lexical syntax amending, intermediate code optimization, code generation. So the speech generation involves several stages. First, the analyze and process a natural language processing NLP algorithm, okay, which breaks it down into individual words and phrases. Next, the TTS system applies rule of pronunciation and intonation to generate a phonetic representation of the text. Okay, so basically that is the first step. Next, this phonetic representation is then used for the synthesize the speech, either by concatene pre-recorded speech fragment or by using a form of statistical parametric synthesis. Okay, synthesis means they have to identify from the data set which word are there, and then match this word and show the meaning and combine that particular word, which involve modeling the relationship between written text and the corresponding acoustic features. Okay, so finally the synthesized speech is outputted as an audio file or through a speaker. So speech generation has numerous applications, including in assistive technology for people with visual impairments or reading difficulties, as well as the virtual assistant and automated customer service system It can also be used in language learning and the pronunciation practice tool. Just like if we pronounce some special words, some complicated words, some complex word, just type into the Google how to pronounce this. So the machine Google Assistant is pronounce this word to you. So that is also very useful to the pronunciation practice tools. So the development of speech generation technology has greatly improved the accessibility and usability of text-based content for individuals who may have difficulty reading or accessing written text. So as the technology continue to advance, it is likely that speech generation will become more natural sounding and capable of expressing a wide range of emotion and nuisance in language. So uh, basically the speech generation is used for the person who have not speak, who has not visual impair and who has visual impairments and not speak, then we can using this speech generation tools, and we can easily communicate with the other person. Okay, so what are the uses of speech generation? The first is widespread in the consumer applications and the telephone applications. We will use to the speech generation, just like some announcements, just like some applications for the guiding, for the virtual assistant, so that we have used to the speech generation. Used in automobile navigation system, just like the Google Map. Just put into the Google Map and voice assistant on, then Google Map is show after 500 meters you turn right, turn left, straight. Okay, so internet service utility control room and the children's games. Applications are good for the blind for text to speech utilities. Okay, like Microsoft Window Narrator. Speech enabled readers for documents, for newspaper, for statistical data and the map. Web based voice application and telephone based voice information system can using that speech generation. Okay, we can also use for the language translator if some just like Russian Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister to how to talk with each other, that this is the speech auditory interface is also useful in that place, because Russian Prime Minister is speaking his Russian language and the Indian Prime Minister is not recognize this speech. Okay, so Indian Prime Minister is speaking Hindi and not and this Russian Prime Minister is not recognized that the Hindi language. So the speech generation and digitization, which is converted language translate to the Indian and Indian to the Russian. Okay. So what kind of non-speech auditory interface? So non-speech auditory interface are the interface that communicate with user through sound, but do not involve speech. Okay, just put under the sound value. Okay, just like to a ringtone. Okay, only ringtone. So these interface are often used in situation where visual interface may not be practical, such as low light condition for people for visual impairments, or in situation where the user need to be able to focus on task without looking at the screen. And non-speech auditory interface can be particularly useful in situation where visual information is limited or unreliable, such as dark or noisy environments. They can also be used to provide an additional layer of information to users who may be visually impaired or who prefer to interact with the technology in a non-visual way. There are some example of non-speech auditory interface include: first is tactile feedback device that use sound to convey information through vibration, such as wearable devices that notify the user of incoming call of or message, just type to record and pop up sound. Sonification, which is used to sound of to represent data such as a scientific or medical visualization. Auditory icon, which are sound that represent a specific action or event, such as sound of camera shutter when taking a photo. And ear cones are shorter musical phrase used to report specific action or event such as startup sound of the computer, and also environmental sound such as the sound of car engine or the hum of the refrigerator, which can be provide information about the status of the device or system. So that's all for today's class. If you have any query, ask any question from my mail ID guptapradeep@akgec.ac.in.